How many times this week have you grilled fish at home? Salmon, mackerel, cod, or any other variety? Fish is one of the most praised health foods on the planet, loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and essential vitamins. But there is something happening in your kitchen every time you grill it that most people have no idea about. And it could be quietly harming your health. Far more than the outdoor air pollution you check on your phone every morning. Government researchers conducted a controlled experiment, measuring indoor air quality in a sealed residential kitchen, while cooking common foods. When fish was grilled on an open pan without ventilation, indoor fine particulate matter, known as PM2.5, spiked to levels 70 times higher than normal indoor baseline concentrations. To put that in perspective, the outdoor air quality threshold for issuing a public health warning is 50 micrograms per cubic meter. Inside that kitchen, grilling one piece of fish produced concentrations of 2,200 micrograms per cubic meter. That is more than 20 times the level at which authorities tell you to stay indoors and avoid going outside. This is not happening outside. This is happening in your kitchen. The reason fish produces so much more particulate matter than other foods comes down to what makes it so healthy in the first place. Fish is rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, the same omega-3s that protect your heart and brain. But polyunsaturated fats oxidize far more readily than saturated fats when exposed to high heat. When fish hits a hot pan, those omega-3 molecules break down rapidly, releasing dense smoke packed with PM2.5 particles, volatile organic compounds, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and benzene. Domestic research published in an indoor environment journal found that benzene levels during fish grilling exceeded recommended indoor safety limits by a significant margin. Benzene is classified as a definitive human carcinogen. Why does this matter so much? Because PM2.5 particles are 30 times smaller than the width of a single human hair. They bypass every defensive mechanism in your nose and throat, traveling directly into the deepest sections of your lungs. From there, some of these particles cross the lung tissue wall and enter your bloodstream directly. Once circulating through your body, they trigger systemic inflammation. Long-term studies following hundreds of thousands of people have linked regular exposure to elevated PM2.5 levels with up to a 20% higher risk of heart disease, 15% higher risk of stroke, and 25% higher risk of lung cancer. One large study found that inadequate kitchen ventilation alone was associated with a 49% increase in lung cancer risk over time. Another analysis found that long-term cooking fume exposure raised lung cancer risk by up to 74%. These risks accumulate over years of daily cooking in poorly ventilated spaces. The people most affected are those who cook the most. If you prepare meals daily, you are the one breathing the highest concentrations of these particles every single day. Now let us talk about what you can actually do. You do not need to stop eating fish. You need to change how you prepare it. The safest cooking method by a significant margin is steaming. When you steam fish, the cooking temperature never exceeds 100 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, polyunsaturated fats do not oxidize, which means virtually no smoke forms and no PM2.5 is generated. Research comparing cooking methods found that steaming and boiling produce dramatically lower particulate emissions than pan frying or open grilling, by factors ranging from dozens to hundreds of times lower. Steaming also preserves omega-3 content far better than grilling or frying. If your goal is to eat fish for its health benefits, steaming is the method that delivers those benefits most completely while generating essentially no indoor air pollution. The second safest method is using an oven or air fryer. Because cooking happens inside an enclosed chamber, smoke and particles are contained rather than released directly into your kitchen air. Opening the oven door briefly at the end releases some, but the overall exposure to indoor PM2.5 is dramatically lower than open pan grilling. When using an air fryer, keeping the temperature at or below 180 degrees Celsius further reduces both particulate generation and carcinogen formation. If you want to pan grill fish, covering the pan with a lid during cooking significantly reduces the amount of smoke and fine particles escaping into your kitchen air. Using parchment paper or foil underneath the fish to prevent fat from contacting the hot pan surface directly also reduces smoke generation. Always pat the fish completely dry with a paper towel before cooking. Moisture causes more intense spattering and smoking when it hits hot fat. Use the minimum amount of oil possible. Excess oil burning on the pan surface is a major source of smoke and fine particles. Ventilation is non-negotiable. Studies have shown that running a range hood at full capacity during cooking can reduce indoor PM2.5 concentrations by 90 to 95%. Ventilation alone, without a range hood, reduces levels by only around 46%. This means your range hood is not optional equipment. It is essential protective gear. Turn it on before you place the fish in the pan, not after smoke has already filled the air. Keep it running for at least 30 minutes after cooking ends, because PM2.5 particles remain suspended in indoor air long after the heat source is removed. Open windows on opposite sides of your home to create cross-ventilation. If opening windows is not possible, run an air purifier. Research has shown that a properly sized air purifier can achieve a particulate removal rate of approximately 82%. Some groups need to be especially careful. Anyone with asthma, chronic lung disease, or heart disease should avoid being in the kitchen during fish grilling, and should strongly prefer steaming or oven cooking. Pregnant women should minimize exposure to cooking fumes, as PM2.5 particles have been shown to cross the placenta. Children breathe proportionally more air relative to their body weight than adults, making them more vulnerable to the same level of indoor air pollution. Keeping children out of the kitchen during high smoke cooking is an important protective measure. Here is your 7-day action plan. On days 1 and 2, start running your range hood at maximum power before cooking begins and keep windows open. Make it a fixed habit, not an occasional one. On day 3, try steaming fish instead of grilling. Try a simple preparation with ginger, soy sauce, and green onion. Notice the absence of smoke. On day 4, try your fish in an air fryer at 180 degrees or below. On day 5, if you pan grill, cover the pan with a lid on medium-low heat. On day 6, position an air purifier near the kitchen during cooking. On day 7, keep family members, especially children, out of the kitchen during the cooking process, and ventilate thoroughly for 30 minutes after finishing. Fish is genuinely one of the best foods you can eat. The omega-3s, the protein, the vitamins are all real and valuable. The goal is not to stop eating fish. The goal is to choose cooking methods that preserve those benefits, while protecting the air your family breathes every day. Steam it when you can. Use the oven when you want a roasted texture. Always ventilate, always. One small change in your kitchen routine can make a meaningful difference to your long-term health. If this helped, please like and subscribe, and share it with someone who cooks fish regularly. Leave a comment below telling us how you usually cook fish. We will see you in the next one.